Welcome back, Mets fans, to another week of Raise the Apple. Missed the last 2 weeks, but we're back on track now. How about our New York Mets? Winners of 7 in a row, 18-7 on the year, owners of the best record in all of Major League Baseball, opened 12-1 at home for the first time ever. There is not much negative you can say right now about the New York Mets. The starting rotation, which everyone thought was going to be a huge question mark, has been fantastic. The bullpen, that a lot of people also thought was going to be a huge question mark, has been fantastic. The offense is slowly starting to wake up. What was thought to be their biggest strength, slowly starting to come around. Soto and Nimmo, once those two get going, in addition to what Pete, MVP, and Lindor are already doing, it's just everything is going the Mets' way right now in the early going of the season, and there is a lot of baseball, of course, yet to go. But I mean, you can't help but be excited about what's going on. The Mets are having sellout crowds in a weekday in April right now. That's just the shit. The vibes in Queens right now are something to be seen. And the Mets are coming off a 3-game sweep of the Phillies. Day off yesterday, back at it today against the Nationals for 3 games before they come home for a quick 3-game series, and then back on the road again. So, I mean, look at this Mets lineup. I mean, everything is clicking from top to bottom right now. I know Soto's gotten off to a slow start, but he's still getting on base a lot. You look at Nimmo, he's getting off to a slow start, but his presence in the lineup is a good thing to have. Overall, the Mets they keep finding ways. The last game, Pete ties it in the 10th, and then Marte with a walk-off hit, and the Mets just keep on rolling. Watching the Phillies fans in the Phillies post-game show just having a meltdown after the sweep was just amazing. The Phillies now are only a game over 500. They're 5 games back in the division. Miami's still sitting pretty in the 3rd spot in the division. Atlanta's still trying to figure it out. They have some other issues that we'll talk about in a minute. But I mean, what can you say right now? It's like it's too good to be true. Now, Steve Cohen did say that there is going to be a little bit of regression, and there is. I mean, the Mets aren't going to play near 800 ball the entire season. They are going to come back down to earth a little bit, but I do think this team is talented enough to keep the momentum going where they can keep winning games, and it's just everything's automatic, where just like it felt like in 2022, everything was just so easy, which was kind of a bad thing looking back on it, but I think this Mets team I think it's a lot better than the 2022 team. Obviously, adding Soto in there helps, and the other additions that they've made, but it's all Mets right now. And when you look at what's even more impressive, I was thinking about this yesterday. Look at the Mets lineup. Now, McNeil and Francisco Alvarez come back today, activated off the IL. Brett Baty and Hayden Senger sent down. Baty, I think that was the move that was expected, was Baty was going to get sent down for McNeil over Acuna. But Baty and Acuna have both started to pick it up offensively lately, so it made the decision a little tougher. I thought maybe Azocar was going to go down and they were going to put McNeil in the outfield a little bit. But they decided to go with Baty. Hayden Senger, obviously, everyone knew he was going to be the one sent down. He has been fantastic. And same with Luis Torrens. Luis Torrens last year and at the start of this year, the two of them have been fantastic. Alvarez being back, though, changes this lineup so much, especially if he could play the way that everyone knows and expects him to play. But look at this Mets lineup with McNeil and Alvarez back. This is what's the amazing part to me. Alvarez at catcher, homegrown. Pete at first, homegrown. McNeil at second, homegrown. Lindor at short, yeah, you brought him in a few years ago. At third, Vientos, homegrown. Left field, Nimmo, homegrown. And then center field with Tyrone Taylor and Jose Siri when he's healthy. And then Soto, obviously, you brought in. But then you look at the rotation. Tyler McGill, homegrown. David Peterson, homegrown. Kodai Senga, I don't really know. Do you count I don't think you count Japanese pitchers as homegrown because they pitched in Japan before coming over here. So, like, Roki Sasaki and Yamamoto, I wouldn't consider homegrown on the Dodgers, even though that's the only team they've ever been with. But it's not like they're bringing in an entire new team to win. Most of this team is their guys, and that's what makes it so much better. Is when you have a team that's all yours. It's not, oh, we're gonna buy a free agent here, we're gonna trade for a guy here, we're gonna buy a guy here, trade for a guy here. No, it's almost from top to bottom, almost the entire lineup is homegrown guys. And I think that speaks to how much progress the Mets farm system has made since Steve Cohen took over, how much development they've made and advancements they've made in other areas with Cohen and with David Stearns in the pitching lab. Jeremy Hefner has done an amazing job with the pitching staff ever since he's come in. I mean, when you look at the coaching turnover on the Mets, the only one that's consistently stayed is Hefner. And I just think having that consistency in leadership and in coaching and building this farm system to where you're not just a one and done. You're winning. You're like the Dodgers, where you're winning every single year. I think that's something that's getting a little overlooked with this Mets team and with this organization in general. A lot of people don't like Steve Cohen because he's bad for other owners, because he actually spends, he wants to win. He's got all these development plans that he's pushing through to make Citi Field just a huge experience, adding the casino and just making the extra life outside of the ball field right around Citi Field that much better than everywhere else. And I think owners are upset at that because they're not doing that, and now fans are seeing what's going on with the Mets and they're like, yeah, I want that. So we're spoiled rotten as Mets fans right now to have Steve Cohen and David Stearns and Mendoza. Mendoza has been amazing the last year and this year. There's just the pulse he has in the locker room. He's been fantastic. David Stearns, since coming in last year, has been great, finding undervalued pitching, and of course Steve Cohen is. We've been spoiled with that, with getting Lindor and the extension, with bringing in Juan Soto. It's what is going on right now is unheard of in Mets history. Like, we've never seen anything like this. We're so accustomed to losing and the status quo and, oh yeah, we're going to be competitive with the guys we got, and then nothing ever happens. It's just something new, and it's something that not a lot of Mets fans have seen before. So it's really something special what is going on here right now. And I mean, you can feel the shift in New York City. It was a Yankees town. In my whole life, I never thought I'd see New York City anything but a Yankees town. And it's slowly starting to shift into a Mets place. And it's truly something special to see what is going on in Queens right now. But with that, there is, like I said before, like Steve Cohen said, there will be some regression. Some guys are going to scale back a little bit, and that's okay. That's expected to happen. It's a 162-game season. But you also have Alvarez and McNeil coming back. You have Sean Manaea coming back. You have Paul Blackburn and Frankie Montas on the horizon. So you have reinforcements coming, which is always something great to have. You can never have too many pitching. You can never have too many guys in the minor leagues. You know, the next injury or anything like that, you know, Senger and Beatty are right there waiting, ready to go. You got Joey Meneses, who was good for the Nationals down in AAA as well. So it's a lot of good right now for the Mets, and a lot of positive good things. A lot of non-positive good things are happening in Atlanta right now. So the Atlanta Braves, I made a TikTok about this yesterday. The Atlanta Braves have gotten off to a horrendous start by Braves standards. This division was thought to be Mets, Braves, Phillies, duking it out all year. The Braves have just gotten off to a horrible start. They don't have their star player, Ronald Acuna Jr. They won't have him till about May-ish, probably, end of May, early June. You got Spencer Strider back for one start and then back on the IL again. And then you have the drama with deleted tweets. So, in summary, for those of you who didn't see it, Jared Kelenic the other night hit a ball, thought it was a home run. pimped it, was jogging out of the box. It was not a home run. Tried stretching it into a double, gets thrown out at second base. Not a good look for Kelenic, especially when you're not a home run hitter. You haven't established yourself as a guy yet, and doing that, just not a good look. Then you have Ronald Acuna Jr. going on Twitter and saying, oh, if I did that, I would have been benched. Tweet has since been deleted. Mets did a little trolling because that later that afternoon when Luis Angel Acuna came up to hit, on his picture on the board, they said has not tweeted yet today, which was awesome. Where I stand on all of this, this is a horrible look for the Braves from top to bottom. So obviously it doesn't look good on Kelenic for doing that. Snitker's responses and the way he's handled it hasn't been the best either. But when you're Ronald Acuna Jr., you are the face of the Braves. You are a top 5, arguably top 3 best player in all of baseball when you're healthy and on the field. And at this point in your career, you're considered a leader in that clubhouse. And when you go and publicly out one of your teammates like that on social media, that's not a good look at all. I've seen a lot of people stick up for Acuna. I've seen some people throw around that, oh, it's Snitker's favorite in Kelenic because of they've made it a race thing with Snitker having a problem with the Latin guys. It's a whole mess in Atlanta right now. But I think everyone's putting blame on Kelenic and Snitker, which Kelenic in the wrong, should not be doing that. Snitker, his response, not the best. But no one seems to be, it seems like from what I'm seeing that a lot more people are taking Acuna's side than Kelenic. And I don't get that. I think Acuna is just as much in the wrong here as Snitker and Kelenic are. When you're the face of, when you're the face of the team and you're outing a teammate on social media, that is a horrible look. And no matter which way you spin it. And the optics don't look good for Atlanta because when Acuna comes back, Kelenic, because of his lack of production, was probably in the conversation of one of the guy leaving for Acuna. So now that looks bad. But then you have Jeff Francoeur, who's been broadcasting. He's a staple in Braves history. You have him sounding off on Acuna, saying how bad of a look it was. And then you have him saying that, he heard that Kelenic on Easter Sunday went to the manager's office and he was in tears and him and Snitker were talking it out. It's just been a mess for the Braves from start to finish, or from start to now this year. And this is just a horrible look. Players on social media has been interesting to watch. You have that. You had Jazz Chisholm bashing an umpire on Twitter in the middle of a game. I don't like Acuna doing that. I think that's kind of scummy. I don't like outing your teammates on. You could have handled that in private, I think. I think this all could have been handled in-house, but the media likes to spin stories. The media likes to make things bigger deals than they are. And this has been a hot discussion for the last week almost now. Who is in the right, who's in the wrong, all that kind of stuff. I think that Atlanta needs to stay offline and figure themselves out because it is still only April. There is a long way to go before the season's over. But the way the Mets are playing, the Phillies are going to be good all year. Time can run out very quickly on Atlanta if they don't figure it out. And I think having Acuna back, if they could keep Strider healthy, plus getting Acuna back, that would be huge for them. But nonetheless, I just don't like what transpired with Acuna there. But I mean, what do I know? I don't know anything compared to what all these other people know. But the Mets, back to our Mets. They are on the road for 3 games against the Nationals, then come home for a quick 3-game series with Arizona before they head home, on the road again to battle the Cardinals and Arizona again all on the road before returning home again. The Mets, a lot of people have said, had a softer schedule, and yes, their schedule has been a little soft to start the year, but you still have to win those games. They still have a plus 36 run differential. They're 12-1 at home. They're 4-2 against teams over 500. They're the only team in the division with a positive run differential. They have the second best run differential in the National League, only behind the Cubs at plus 43. The second best run differential actually in all of baseball. I mean, I don't like using, in any sport, whether it's college, high school, professional, I don't like using the strength of schedule argument because you still have to go out there and win those games. You know, the Phillies are a good team. The Astros are a good team. Have they scaled back? The Astros, at least, have they scaled back a little bit? Yes, but they're still a good team. A lot of the teams they're playing are not terrible. I mean, they haven't played the Marlins. They've only played the Marlins once. They haven't played the Rockies and the White Sox 20 times or something like that. So I don't want to discredit what the Mets are doing. It's just something extremely special going on in Queens right now. And you can't help but smile at what's going on. But that's pretty much going to be it for today's episode. A quick one, kind of covering the Braves and catching up on the Mets a little bit. Back to weekly episodes beginning next week. The Mets in DC tonight. Kodai Senga on the mound for Game 1 against the Nationals. Hopefully the Mets can keep it rolling. The Nationals they're not going to be an easy win either. I mean, are they a playoff team? No. But they're not going to be a pushover like, poor Colorado's only won 4 games this year. I mean, that's just... Everyone talks about the White Sox and how bad they are, but I don't think we're addressing the Colorado Rockies enough, especially since Chris Bryant is hurt again. But that's going to wrap it up for this week on Raise the Apple. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you follow on TikTok at RTA_pod, where we have some more content coming, especially this summer, but right now it's a lot of post-game recaps. Follow on Twitter. Lots of good stuff coming. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button, and we will see you next week. Let's go Mets.